Mhm.
Hello, this is Reverend Dr. Anthusa Helena with Soul Light Integrative Medicine. For more details of training programs and private sessions, log on to Soullight, SOLLITE.com. And while you're there, feel free to download your one page PDF meditation, which is helpful at any time for you to use with yourself and share with others. Thank you. Now, today we're having another series of the Hope and Inspiration podcast interviews. And I'm delighted to have a good friend of mine, Jeff Fasano, who I've known for over a decade or more. And I've known him in many different venues. He's an author. I've purchased his books. He does a live talk show. I think it's called Real Men, Real Talk Live, but he'll definitely correct me if I'm wrong with that. And then also, he just compiled a beautiful book called Americana Portrait Series. And he's a wonderful photographer. I've seen many of his photographic sessions with many artists, musicians. And I believe personally that artistry and culture brings hope and inspiration to people. And when that starts to crumble, I do believe it creates a lack in our society and our humanity. So that's what urged me or felt within my heart to ask Jeff Fasano to be our speaker today. So,
Mm.
welcome, Jeff. Thank you for doing the interview.
Oh, thank you. And it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, you're right. I had this conversation with someone the other day about, excuse me, about art and music, and it's centered around, if you really think about it, who doesn't love music?
I don't know. I do.
I
I love
mean,
art, period. Yes.
in all shapes and sizes and forms. Who doesn't love music? Who doesn't actually hold on once? Who doesn't actually um, uh, enjoy music? I really don't know. I'm thinking. So we had this conversation, and we're thinking about, like, really everybody who I know loves music in any way, shape, or form. It's such a huge part of their lives. And in many ways, for many people, art is a form of, for everybody, whatever that is. And there's so
Mhm.
many art forms in the world.
Yes.
And so right now, I am creating my very first photography book called Americana Portrait Sessions, which has to do with the many years that I have been photographing in the Americana music genre, going all the way back to 2003. Um, and it includes, if you're not familiar with the Americana genre, which is a tough one to explain because it's about roots music.
Oh,
Um, if I gave you artists all the way back to the 60s, like Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and Judy Collins in the folk world, even Bob Dylan, I consider Bruce Springsteen Americana. Um, but you're looking at Chris Christopherson,
yeah.
and all the way through to people like Jason Isbell now, and Lucinda Williams, and I can go on and on. And most of these people who I'm mentioning will be in my book. I photographed them all over the years. Um, what this book for me is two things. It's a celebration of this genre and the importance of the genre of Americana music, because if you really think back to the folk days in the 60s, And
Mm.
then think about Crosby, Stills and Nash, and think about those bands. They were all talking about what was going on in the world at that time. They
Yes.
were writing. What they were writing was about what was going on in the world at that time, how it was affecting them. And that is what the Americana music genre is about. It includes singer-songwriters, folk, blues, R&B, um, bluegrass. But,
Oh,
but the basis and the foundation of the Americana music genre is words and music. It's about writing, talking about things that are important to people, talking about life experience, talking about what's going on in the world and having people think about it. And in so many levels. So I have been coming to Nashville. I mean, I live in Nashville, Tennessee, but I've been coming here for 15 years, shooting my portrait sessions at Americana Fest, which is here in
oh,
Nashville. I have a partnership with them. So
okay.
what I've been doing is shooting portraits there for 10 years,
Mhm.
and that's the foundation of this book. But this book is also not only it's going to bring a face to this genre of music in my portraits, but I also have a gentleman here, Ed Hurt, who writes for the Nashville Scene, who is going to write an essay that is about the genre, the history of the genre, and then include my story.
Oh,
And my story is that I worked in the corporate world for almost 20 years.
oh, I
And
didn't
when I
know that. Yeah.
And when I turned 40, I quit my job to do photography.
Oh, good. The passion, the love of your life, right?
Find Follow my passion and love for what I wanted to do because I wasn't joyous in the life that I was leading. And I was pretty miserable from 9 to 5 every day. And what I found out that was what I was really ready to do was take another step in my soul plan.
Yeah, and I just want to intercede here because I think that's what um, the experience we've been through the last 2 years. I think that hit home in everybody's hearts that they really, at least I think, searched within their heart to see, is this really the way I want to live, and start to do what you did long ago before what globally happened, and listen to your soul plan, listen to your heart, and you did it. So to me, what you just said is very inspiring to people, our interviewers, our followers that are listening, to go for it. Bring joy into your life. Follow your heart. Do what your passion is. So anyway, I spoke a little bit onward about that, but go ahead. Yeah.
No, but you're right, and so that's what it was for me back in 1999 when I decided to quit that job. And really, what I wasn't really. That's just it in the 3D. I left that job, but what I was really doing was leaving that part of my life in my soul plan
Mm-hmm.
and then moving to the next part of my soul
Mm-hmm.
plan and create this whole new life for myself following my passion and love for photography that opened up so many doors because always if we can remember this, when we do connect in our heart space to our soul plan and really live that on a soul connected basis, if we live our lives that way, we will then move forward and doors are going to open up along the way. So when I did quit my job at 40, so many doors opened up for me that never would have happened if I didn't close that door to that old life and move into creating a whole new life for myself. It was never about for me becoming a rock star as a photographer. It was just I wasn't living the life that I wanted to live. That's really what it came down to. I can go into the whole thing about my relationship with my father and mother and all that good stuff that led to that life. But I wasn't living the life. I was miserable. And I was dating a woman at the time who actually said that. She goes, Jeff, the only time you're ever happy is you're miserable. The only time you're ever happy is, when you're with me and you have that camera in your hand. And I went, wow. So
Oh,
that was the angel that came into my life that pushed me, and it was after I broke up that I went home and made a list of all the things I wanted to do and thought I could do, and literally photography leapt out off the page as if 3D, and I felt it in my soul, and that's when I said it's time to go in this direction. I was 33, but then it wasn't about um, doing it on impulse. So this is the important part when I talked about people. Oh, I hate my job. I hate my life, and I'm really, and then quitting all of that. I'm lucky that that's what I wanted to do when I was 33. My father said, "You're not ready to do it," and I wasn't.
okay.
And one of the things that this woman who I was involved with said, "Jeff, make a plan." So that's what I did. So I made a plan because my father said, "You will quit this job. You
Oh,
will.
okay.
It will happen." He said, "And it's going to happen when there's no drama surrounding it. It will just organically happen." And what that means is that if we are moved, so what I did, let me back, what I did in that moment of saying, I got it, this is what I want to do, and now I've got to create a plan around this. I put into motion in the universe that I was ending that part of my life, but I was putting it in motion. So as I was putting it in motion, I created a plan. I knew what I needed to do, and I followed that plan, which included having enough money to when I left the job to do. So I put that into motion. What was my plan? I needed lights. I needed to create a dark room. I needed to practice. I needed to build a portfolio. I needed to do all of that stuff. And that was when the universe said, "Oh, we got you."
I see. That's really important because just speaking for myself, I know there have been times in the past that I've done things impulsively, and then looked back and thought, "Oh no, I'm sort of in another mess." But
Yeah,
but I really hearing you say, and also encouraging the people listening, that it sounds like you took several years. Was it like 7 years that you actually really prepared, or
it was about four, four or
about
five, four or
still that
five years.
for
Yeah,
still a good amount of time to to step into what brought you the most joy and happiness in your life, and also
exactly.
following your soul plan, and you have another venue that you utilize to help people follow their hearts and their soul plan, as well as I do with my business and Soul Light. But go ahead, explain a little bit more, tell us anything else about other venues if you'd like, but
Well,
I want to say that's definitely important.
yeah, I mean, this is really important, and it's not about you could look at your life and ask yourself, is there joy in my life? Am I enjoying what am I doing? Am I prospering in it, whatever that means to you? Am I thriving in my life? Am I living my life? See, I lived a life of in survival consciousness for a long time.
Mhm.
And it was all about surviving life, not really about living life. It was about being safe and secure, which is
Yes.
what I learned from my father, which was what I was doing in the corporate world. I was safe and secure. I had a salary coming in, I had benefits, I had a retirement plan, I had all of that stuff. So from my father, that was his mentality. That's what he grew up with, and that's what he instilled in me. And but I wasn't there. It wasn't working for me. And that's when I said, I need to live my own life. That's what I was saying to myself. I want my own life. And that's what moved me to doing this. And I can back up to even when I went back to school for photography in the late 80s.
Oh.
And that's where the ball really got started going. And then it hit me. But the thing that I did that I didn't do I did it consciously, but I wasn't really doing this work spiritually.
Oh.
Something hit me. I was leaving the World Trade Center where I was working, and I got on the train. Something hit me, says it's time to grow up and go home. When I got home, something also said I picked up a legal pad. And basically I started looking at my life. Like, what are all the things that I could do
Hmm.
that I'm not doing now? And I started making a list. And then photography was in that list.
Hmm.
And I added a few more things, and I ate dinner, came back, read the list. And what I was doing is I was reading everything I wrote down. There must have been about 10 or 15 items on that list. And then all of a sudden, I looked, and photography just came off the list. But what I really did do, and this is really important, that I do now and ask people to do, is when you make that list, go through the list and say, how does that make me feel? How does that
Hmm.
make me feel? Now, I wasn't consciously doing that.
Right, right.
When I read the list, I went, yeah, okay. But photography hit me in my heart. And
It
it
made you
just,
happy. Yeah.
I felt it, and I went, oh, wow. And then it clicked in. So what was clicking in was my connection to my soul plan.
Uh,
And I felt it here, not here,
hmm.
but I felt it right in my heart. And I went, that's it.
Yeah.
So right then and there, that's when the universe that's when I felt that resonance. And then I made the plan and all that good stuff. So when we find that, if we find that, then we're on that path of a connection to our soul plan, in our soul plan. But I can even dig everything, even what I was doing in the corporate world for 18 years was in my soul plan.
Yes, then.
Everything is. It's just about, as my mentor Robert Baker said years ago, Jeff, you're going to live your soul plan anyway. Wouldn't it be cool if you were conscious for it?
Oh, yeah.
And that's the point.
Yeah.
So it's about being conscious to when things are happening. And you can ask yourself, why am I living this old life? Why am I in this job? Well, the answers came to me that I was in survival consciousness, safety and security, and all that good stuff. So, you know, that's when I put it all into motion. And as the years went by, and I did eventually leave my job when I turned 40 in 1999, and then started doing this. That is when a couple of years later, I hooked up with Paste Magazine and started shooting in the Americana world, and realized that's how much I loved this music. That
Hmm.
just took me on a path of going through, and all the amazing people that I have met, like Chris Christopherson and Stephen Stills, Judy Collins, um, David Crosby, Vince Gill, Sheryl Crow. I can go on and on. But the point is not about boasting about, oh wow, I met those people. The
Hmm.
point is that when you follow your soul plan, these doorways are going to open up for you.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that back up again too, because I do feel most of us have been in survival mode really intensely last couple years, and maybe even realized, like you did, that they've been living in survival mode even way before this occurred. And the important point that I wanted to bring out to attention was that when you did um, start living your soul plan, the doors actually open easily and they flow, and things come to you that so much that you don't have to work so hard to go after to get them to happen, right?
Right. And, things will come to you on the pathway. So when I quit my job, I mentioned Robert Baker. He popped into my life. That's when I started beginning studying metaphysics that I've been studying for more than 20 years now. That would never have happened if I didn't quit my job, because the two people that led me to Robert Baker, I met on a photo shoot.
Oh, how about that? I didn't know that. That's great.
So that's how I got to meet Robert, who then opened up all of these doors. He was my mentor, healer, teacher. I studied Reiki with him, became a Reiki master with him, light ascension therapy with him. And then I started the channel in 2002, The Energy of Archangel Michael. And then I put together a book called Journey of the Awakened Heart, The Teachings of Archangel Michael. So the point is all of these amazing things happened because I just found I found it. I found my passion. I found what brings me the greatest amount of joy that still does to this day, 20 odd years later. When I pick up that camera, it is the most joyous thing that I could be doing in my life. It's fantastic. So that is how we moved to this. And then what this book that I'm putting out, Americana Portrait Sessions, is a celebration
Yes.
of of this part of my life. I've photographed many other things. I've photographed Broadway shows. I've done a lot of other things, but this, because I love all of that. This is what I really love, and I've been capturing. So this is a celebration of a good part of my life's work that started back in 2003.
And
Almost
also, were
20
there
years.
some quotes that were in your book that the artists that you photographed, did they also add some of their own, let's say, inspirational quotes along with that? Is that part of it, or was I imagining?
It might be. We haven't really
Oh,
designed the book yet. We're just in the. I mean, we're just. I'm doing right now. I'm in the last 30 or so hours of a Kickstarter campaign
oh, okay.
to to raise funds to publish the book.
And is there some way that our viewers can help you with that? Is there a link they can go to, or how can they support you for those that are interested in what you're saying?
Sure, they can go to my website, jefffasano.com, and go up to the menu bar. You'll see Americana Portrait Sessions, the book. You click there, and between right now, if you're seeing this, and tomorrow evening at 11:59 p.m. Central Daylight Time, so you guys can figure that out for yourself wherever you're living. Um, Click on there and go and contribute to this campaign. Invest in this book. You can pre-order the book there, and then after the campaign ends tomorrow night, I will have the same page up where you can go and pre-order this book. That's a celebration. I call it my gift of inspiration to the world.
Oh, great. That's beautiful. Thank you. I like that. Yes. And I think I saw a post on Facebook where one of your people, musicians, recently you had taken a photograph of, and there was some words that were written um, from this person, and that's why I asked that question. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if it was part of it, but I found when I read it, I found it, and it made me have a feeling of hope and inspiration, and just understanding compassion of humanity. Period. I mean, we're all the same in our humanity. So.
Yeah.
So
Well, those I before I started this project, I went out to a bunch of the artists who are in the book who gave me quotes.
oh, good. Okay.
You know, and I'm still going to pursue that after this campaign
Uh-huh.
is up, to get quotes from artists. As we move along and put them in the book, possibly. but yeah, that they've been, some of them have been, something we, and I'm sure everybody can relate to this. We never know who we're touching and how we're touching them.
True.
We just don't know that. We do what we do. We're being who we are. We give from our heart without attachment, and we just give. In my photo shoots, I give, and then I've also given many, many other ways. But when I'm doing a photo shoot with someone, I'm in it and I'm connected, and it's more than just a photo shoot. It is a connection with the artist, the band, whoever I'm working with. It is a connection, and it's all the people who I have photographed over the years. When I see them again, that connection is still there.
Oh, of course.
And
Yes.
one of the wonderful things about this, like I said, we never know who we're touching and how we're touching them. When I received many of these quotes back, at times I would read them and have tears in my eyes
Yeah. Hmm.
because I never knew how I touched that artist.
Oh.
And they were all different.
Uh-huh.
And so, like, from John Oates, from Hall and Oates, from Judy Collins, who I photographed years ago, the quotes that came back, at times I would say I'd have to sit with them and read them again, and then feel it.
Hmm.
So it was a wonderful affirmation that I'm living my soul plan.
Of
I'm
course.
not only am I providing a service to these artists as a photographer, as a business, but I am also touching their lives in such a way as their music has touched me. And that's the balance of giving and receiving. Their music touches me so deeply. So many artists who I've gotten to meet and photograph, who I can't believe that yesterday I did a photo shoot with Todd Rundgren, who I've
Oh,
been listening for 25 years, and his music has touched me so deeply, and I finally got to work with him yesterday.
oh,
Um,
what a
and
gift.
and it's all of it really comes down to an affirmation that we are connected to our soul plan and living it from a place of living on our lives, from a place of abundance, from a place of prosperity, from a place of thriving and giving to the world, because our abundance is who we are and our talents and gifts. It's not about how much money we have in the bank. It's not about the cars we drive. It's not about the house. Our abundance first is us and who we are, and our talents, gifts, and abilities. And then from that place where the well is full inside of us, we give to the world.
Yeah.
Then when we're doing that and doing it, there is a fulfillment of
Hmm.
having that experience in the moment. And when I do a photo shoot, it's when I'm in that experience, that's what fulfillment has been for me. So that's what this book is all about. All of what I just said, that is what this book represents for me, is the experience that I had with all of these artists, the importance of this genre and what their music in the Americana world, how that has affected me, and then presenting the world for the first time, because nobody has ever done a book like this in the Americana genre.
Oh,
So it's really about shedding light on artists that a lot of people know, and so many artists you've never heard of but should know.
oh, okay. Well, of course, I know all these people because I'm of that era from a while.
But
The people you've mentioned, but I'm sure that I'll get to know newer ones that I haven't known as of yet through your book and what you do. So
that's
we're
the enthusiasm. That's the important part of this.
yeah,
You'll be able to find out and see artists who are amazing, like Sierra Farrell and Jason Isbell, Rhiannon Giddens, Allison Russell. I bet you not many of you who know those names, but you will and should, because their music is amazing, and you'll see their photographs in my book.
yes. and I do enjoy your photography,
Thank you.
really. So we actually are coming to the end of our interview, and you do so many other things. I know I wanted to just point out that I've met you through working with you with your channeling, and also Archangel Michael. I've had sessions with you privately, and I learned a lot about what you express about really listening to your heart, asking the questions, doing that introspection, and then really creating the life that you're meant to live and really enjoy. And then also, you had mentioned earlier today you have a live talk show, Real Men, Real Talk, I think it is. If
Real
you
men, yeah.
Yeah, if you
It's
want to mention any of that, go ahead, or just sum it up for however you'd like.
so under the guise of living your soul plan, I met three other gentlemen, Evis Heath, Josh Richer, and our fearless leader Jay Rothman, and we did a. Jay had a show, a live Facebook show, and he had the three of us on uh, as guests. And after that show, I felt the soul connection that the four of us had, and I said, "Guys, we should do this again." So we did it again, and then they felt it, and we created this show called Real Men, Real Talk Live, and it is all of what I just talked about here,
Mhm.
and so much more. Issues that face everyone in our lives every day, from survival consciousness, abundance, um, all anything that you're experiencing in life. We talk about on this show from the male experience.
Okay, that's great.
Four guys who have done a lot of work on ourselves,
Yeah,
who share this with the world every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, LinkedIn Live, and we also are now streaming on Roku TV and Amazon Fire TV on the Your Health Network. We've grown, and this show has grown to where our neck the I'm not quite. I haven't looked at the numbers for our last show before that. We had 105,000 viewers
wow.
on Facebook.
So yeah,
So
all you men out there that want to,
exactly.
yeah, definitely look into that, and then the Americana book, which you've already given us the link, but if you'd like to say it again, you could do that.
So yeah, for the Kickstarter that lasts for now, I don't know how far, another 30 hours till tomorrow night. You can
Okay.
go to my website, jeff@jefffasano.com. Make sure that
Mhm.
you put in those three F's in the jefffasano.com part, and go to the Americana Portrait Sessions, the book tab in the menu. Click on there. You can go and contribute to this, so you can learn some more. Maybe be inspired by my story to go and follow your dream, and contribute to the campaign. That'd be fantastic. And every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, Real Men Real Talk live on Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, and then go check it and stream it on Roku and Amazon. I'm also part of a wonderful group called the Angel News Network with my friends Philip Collins and Joel Anastasi. And there is a myriad of information on that website that definitely, if you go there to the angelnewsnetwork.com, and that can shift and change your life in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's where I first met you from long ago. So thank you very much. It's actually brought a lot of joy to my heart to be with you today and to hear your story and to support you in whatever way possible and to support our viewers with some hope and inspiration. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Anthusa.